With value for money and the cost of model railways being quite an issue at the moment, and I do understand those people who say they can't afford to buy anything new, I thought I'd do a running session showing you all my LNER and earlier models that cost me, well, less than £50 for the locomotives. I set myself a budget of thinking, what can I buy for under £50? I say a budget. This is over the last few years. And coaches, not more than £15. In many cases, far less than that if you buy them in a job lot. And wagons, well, I think there's a few wagons I bought second-hand that may be more than a fiver, but most of them only cost about a fiver or less. Buying in bulk was the secret for the wagons and the coaches. If you buy a one-off, you end up paying maybe £4 or £5 just for postage. So it pays to buy a larger number. And if there's something you don't want in that job lot, you can always sell it on. So here are my locomotives, and I'll get a couple more as well running, and you can see the sort of quality you can get for less than £50. The first couple of locos are actually pre-grouping. We've got a Hornby J52, I think it was J13 under the Great Northern's numbering process. Next up, an old Mainline J72. It's the one in the northeastern livery, or I think it was a restored northeastern livery, and it's called Joem. And of all the locomotives I'm going to show, I think this is probably the poorest runner. Still got the original mainline mechanism that was not great at the best of times, an old Ringfield motor and split axles. and I felt it only suitable. I finished off with the most widely available bargain locomotive, probably, the LNER Flying Scotsman. Hornby have had it in their railroad range from the start of the railroad idea, and even before that you could buy tender drive models going back to the Margate era that were of a reasonable quality, and then the later ones made in China, which you could often pick up with a rake of 3 or even 4 Gresley coaches. Certainly that's the cheapest way to buy a Flying Scotsman, buy the complete set second hand. A lot of my curves on this layout, the third radius and probably some of the second radius ones, originally came from a couple of Flying Scotsman sets. They're very good value when bought all in one go like that. And this particular version is the railroad, earliest version of the railroad model. It has a 5-pole motor in the locomotive. It's very quiet and smooth. The more recent model, I believe, has a 3-pole motor and a flywheel, and probably runs very smoothly. I suspect it doesn't start quite so smoothly as the 5-pole motor version. Anyway, we'll sign off with Flying Scotsman leaving the station. Well, I hope you enjoyed that budget LNER running session. Just goes to show you can have lots of fun without spending a fortune. In a couple of videos' time, I'll probably be showing you my British Rail and maybe some diesels as well on the same type of video, showing you what you can get for next to no money at all. Meanwhile, we'll just show a couple more shots of Flying Scotsman because it doesn't half run smoothly, this one. Bye for now.